good chance for us now to bring in Josh Kolsrud because, Celeste, we have to think about, they're back in session today up on Capitol Hill, and they want to have a vote. To require the president to go through them for continued military action. Josh, being a legal expert here, I'm sure you've looked at it, Josh. Is that an actual requirement? Could all of this kind of come to a screeching halt if the president doesn't get the vote that he would want to get out of Congress?
Well, it's an interesting constitutional exercise that isn't required for any president to do what Trump has done here. So Congress gave the executive branch in 2001 the authority to take unilateral actions against an opponent, somebody who threatened a real national interest in the United States. It's the authorization for use of military force. And since then, we've had numerous executive branch presidents that have used and relied upon that congressional act to justify what they're doing. For example, like in 2008, President Obama unilaterally went after Libya, and he used the justification that it would cause a humanitarian crisis if America didn't go after that regime. So if a humanitarian crisis in Libya is a national interest in the United States, then almost anything is. So what Congress is trying to do now is they're trying to claw back some of the powers that they gave to the presidency. Because if you look at the Constitution, Article 1 says that only Congress has the ability to declare war. However, it does name the president in Article 2 as the commander-in-chief and says that he can act unilaterally on issues of national security interest. So that's what Trump is going to say. So let's say hypothetically, Congress passes an act that says that Trump cannot attack Iran. Well, Trump's going to say, well, I don't have to follow that because the Constitution allows me to do this, and then it'll be appealed to the Supreme Court, and they'll have to decide.
Oh, the Supreme Court then could weigh in on whether or not this military action could continue or have to stop.
Oh, yes.
Could you imagine?
I know. It's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
And the job of the Supreme Court, right, is to break down the Constitution and interpret it.
Yeah.
Sure.
What does declaring war really mean? Because that is it saying the words, or is action enough? And who says what action is actually war?
Great question. So in 1942, the last time Congress declared war was in 1942 in World War II against Romania and two other Eastern European countries. So they didn't declare war in the Korean War. They didn't declare war in the Vietnam War, Afghanistan, Iraq. So that literally was the last time they actually used their Article 1 Declaration of War powers. So they actually do have to come together and vote as a whole to declare war. That's what makes it official. So it's not just saying it. It's not declaring it on Twitter. It's actually having a vote and passing by a 2/3 majority.
Here's another question I'm certain some people have, which is, what about the literal assassination of a leader of another country? Now, is there any kind of legal issue there? I mean, the supreme leader of Iran was wiped out in that attack on Saturday morning.
There are issues with that with international law. So the UN Charter, which we helped draft in 1945, explicitly states that you can't assassinate people, at least non-enemy combatants, right? And here there's an argument that, the supreme leader was a non-enemy combatant. At least that's what that side of the argument is saying. However, there's a lot of precedent that President Trump is relying on that said that he wasn't a non-enemy combatant. In fact, he's essentially been at war with the United States for the last half century.